What's going on, it's the RapNerd, and I'm here today to talk about a new horror comedy from A24 released last Friday called Death of a Unicorn. Now, the film stars Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega playing a father and a daughter, and they have been invited to a wealthy man's estate for the weekend, and on the way to that estate, they hit a unicorn by accident. So to keep things moving, they put the unicorn in their car and head to this estate, and once they arrive, the estate is attacked by a unicorn. Now, trying to give a summary to this film, I had to tiptoe around because there is a lot in the movie that the trailer does not present, and that really is what made the film such a fun watch for me because of how much is thrown into this movie. And granted, when you lead with the killer unicorn, you don't really need to sell much of anything because that in itself is a premise that sounds fun, and that's what brought me in here, and I'm glad it gave me even more than that. Now, off rip, there is a lot of CGI in this film. All of the unicorns are CGI, and for a lot of horror heads, that may be a door closer. Even the gore itself, there is a lot of CGI usage here, so I'm putting that up front because I know the practical versus VFX fight is something that happens a lot. Me personally, I don't mind CGI, gore, and horror elements if it's done right. For the most part, it looked great. There are some moments when the CGI kind of looks a little rough in certain places, but again, this is coming from a guy that grew up on Anaconda, and I still watch that movie and it holds up despite the VFX not being the best. It's all about the premise and if the story is well, and this film is like that, and it really doubles down on a comedy. It is a lot of dry humor. There aren't really any jokes made for the audience to react to. It's kind of like if you don't catch it, you'll miss it. And I really love humor like that because you start to pick up on even more as you watch it on the rewatch, and that's what makes for good humor in my opinion. And the other great thing about the movie is it's only an hour and 40, but the ball gets rolling very, very quickly. Within the first 5 minutes, the story starts. You're in the vehicle with Jenna and Paul Rudd as they're talking on the way to this estate. Boom, out of nowhere, they hit the unicorn, and from that point, you're going downhill with the events that happen. And I really, really love the story that they pumped into the whole reasoning behind why Paul and Jenna are even going there. And then once they get there, it's a whole different set of domino blocks that makes the story make sense, because when you see the trailer, it's vague in why this is happening or why they're even around, or where the story even leads. It just seems like people are getting killed by unicorns, which was enough for me, but yet again, they pump a lot of information into the lore of unicorns from different historic mythology that play out in the film. And there's also a very scientific reason as to why Paul and Jenna are there, and the reasoning behind the story is even fueled by science. And they play with the mythology and science pretty well. That's actually intriguing. And what I'm about to say is going to sound weird, especially if you haven't seen the movie. You're not going to be able to put two and two together. But I definitely feel like the director of this film is a huge Jurassic Park fan, because there are moments pulled straight from Jurassic Park 2 and 3. Hell, I feel like the whole film was built on those two aspects of each film in a very specific way, and if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. And with it partially being a comedy, this is definitely a movie not to be taken seriously, and all of the characters' personalities are ramped to insane levels to make the movie more dramatically satirical. Paul does an incredible job of just being a negligent father to Jenna when it's clear that she should be the one people listen to, and everybody treats her the same exact way. But I will say, Jenna, as usual, she finds ways to really put her emotion into everything, and there are definitely moments that kind of pull on the heartstrings as you learn more about them. So overall, this was a very enjoyable watch. I loved it, and this will be a film that I add to my physical media library and joins that group of favorite creature features, because I'm going to get a lot of play out of this one. So if you've seen Death of a Unicorn, let me know in the comments what you thought. What is your favorite sequence in the film? Mine personally is the introduction of the killer unicorn. It was executed so well. It really amplified the terrifying nature of these beasts. I thought it was directed extremely well. And that just reminded me of something before I close this out. I do like the terror that was caused by the direction. For the first time ever seeing these unicorns, I was actually pretty damn scared. The way they were moving was terrifying. It wasn't like they were just kind of galloping around. I mean, they were booking it after people and killing people in ways that you would expect and some that you wouldn't. and they were just vicious. So like I said, had a wonderful time watching it. Definitely go out to theaters and see it if it's still near you, because it's definitely worth it if you're a creature feature fan. So if you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, thank you. And until next time, peace. RapNerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy. Instead of banking on it, now rapping is just a hobby.